Right, good afternoon, Year 5. We are back with our Greek myths. If you remember, we're going to start our second story called Persephone and the Pomegranate Seed. Now, I'm not sure if you know anything about pomegranate or if you've tried it, but it's basically quite a large red sort of fruit that's quite unique because once you slice it open, inside you get these little balls that are packed together, and yeah, they're really nice. That's the fruit inside, and it tends to be really juicy, and I think it's rather healthy for you. But it's called Persephone and the Pomegranate Seeds. In those early days, the weather was always warm and sunny. The flowers are always in bloom. The crops are always ready for harvest. The goddess Demeter tended the countryside like a garden, planting seeds, watering the green grass, encouraging the trees to put on first blossom, then leaves, then fruit. And while Demeter worked, her little daughter Persephone used to play in the green woods of Sicily, picking violets until her apron was full. Now Sicily is a little, sort of like an island, a larger island underneath, near Italy, should I say. When mother and child walked home hand in hand at the end of another sunny day, talking and singing and laughing together, the evening primroses opened just to watch them pass by. Pluto was not so lucky. Although he was a god, he did not live on top of Mount Olympus in halls of cloud and sunlight, or on earth among the trees and the fields. Pluto ruled over the kingdom of the dead, and lived under the earth in darkness and bitter cold. Not one ray of sunshine ever shone its way down into those echoing caverns and tunnels. But worse than either cold or dark was the loneliness. Pluto tried to find a wife, but nobody wanted to give up the sunshine, the flowers, or the glittering sea to live in Pluto's dismal kingdom beneath the ground. Sometimes Pluto would climb to the brim of the earth underworld and peep out at the girls and women playing in the sun. The bright light hurt his eyes, but the sight of all those pretty women hurt even more. One day he saw Persephone picking violets in a Sicilian wood. "That's the one," murmured Pluto. "How beautiful she is! Oh yes, she's the fine wife for me." But Pluto did not go to Demeter and ask to marry her daughter. He knew she would say no. Instead, he harnessed his black chariot and thundered out into the sunlight. Lashing his whip, he drove his horses on at full tilt. All Sicily shook at his coming, and his wheels felled trees to left and right as he raced through the woods. Holding the reins in his teeth, Pluto leaned out and snatched Persephone by her long hair. Her apron spilled all its violets. It's a bit violent, I think, but here's a picture. So that's Pluto with his whip and his chariot, and he's just snatched Persephone, who was just picking violets, by her hair. I wouldn't personally recommend doing that, but oof. "Who are you? What do you want with me? Oh, let me go. Help me, somebody." "Mother, help me," she cried. The trees bawled after Pluto. "Come back, leave her alone." Their green leaves flushed red with shouting, but Pluto took no notice as he raced back to his underworld. He struck out with his whip. The earth split open. A bottomless ravine gaped. Ravines, it's a very large hole in the ground. And his chariot sped downwards. Down into the dark, down into the cold, he carried Persephone. "Don't cry," he told her. "I shall make you my queen. Be happy. I'll give you all the riches of the earth, gold, silver, and gems. You have the love of a king. What more do you want?" "I want to go home. I want my mother," sobbed Persephone. When they reached the river Styx, which divides the earth from the kingdom of the dead, she cried out, "River, help me! I am Persephone. Save me, please!" Now the river heard her and knotted itself around the god's legs, almost tripping him. But Pluto kicked it aside like a dog. In despair, Persephone slipped off her belt of flowers and threw it into the tumbling water. "Take that to my mother and tell her," she pleaded. The river took her belt and hurried away. Then darkness closed in on all sides. Pluto had reached home with his captive wife. Meanwhile, up on the earth, Demeter came looking for her daughter at the end of the day. "Persephone, darling, time to go home." That's where we're going to stop it. So at this point, Demeter, who's the mother, has no idea what's happened to Persephone. And next time, part 2, we'll find out exactly what happens to Demeter, Persephone, and will Pluto get punished? We'll find out.